Ready when you are.
We're live.
We're live.
Let's see. Let me check the dates
Get
here.
out of town.
Check it on out.
And for those of you here, we really do know technology. We're really not this bad.
We're really not this bad. But yeah, it looks like we're live. We have a couple of viewers live. Thanks guys for sticking around. I know it's been a little crazy over here. So again,
I think the world is going a little crazy right now, so it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah, and we're not, it's going to be fine. So we are, again, talking about recession-proofing your music business. Today, in this live session, we're talking to Evan Samarin, who is the samurai of email deliverability. He works with us at SMA very closely, and he's going to talk about what's working, what's not working, the problems he's seeing people have today, specifically today, even throughout this whole COVID-19 pandemic. So welcome, Evan, and thanks for hanging out with us.
No, you're very welcome. Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure to be here with the SMA team and the family.
Awesome. So just give everybody maybe a 2-minute scope on your background, what you do, and where your expertise is at.
Yeah, great question. I mean, in short, I work with my clients to help them make more money via their email. That's as simple as it comes. And really that comes through email deliverability, and email deliverability it's a very unknown term. Most people think, there's so many misconceptions when it comes to email. It's, email is a guaranteed service. It's like my phone. I pick it up, I dial the number, and it rings on the other end, regardless. And email just doesn't work that way. Just because you send it doesn't mean they'll get it. And on the flip side, just because they request it doesn't mean they'll receive it or receive it in their inbox. So I hit into that, and then you hit into the fact that most people don't realize that you actually, as a business owner, as a marketer, as a sender, have control over your email deliverability. It's not up to the system that you use. It's the actions that you put forward. It's how you set things up, how you market. In short, people have control over where their messages land more than they think. And that's, if you take one message away from today, when you look at, how do I recession-proof my business? Really it's how do you get your messages to recipients so they can respond, is that you do have control over your email. Like if you take one thing away, you have control. You can impact where your emails land. Now you can't guarantee where they land, but you absolutely can impact where things landings follow. So I am an email deliverability ninja. That is, other than SMA, who's the only client I work with on really a full scope marketing effort, everything I do is email deliverability all day, every day. So hopefully we can pass on some nuggets for you, and help you really thrive in a time where a lot of people are letting fear take over and hide.
Yeah.
So, we're here to help you today. We're here to help you get more messages to the inbox and really make money and thrive. Forget just now, but even in the future, because nothing we're going to talk about today is not true tomorrow or 6 months from now or a year from now. So, please, take heed to what we're saying, learn. This is all designed to help you. Hey, Leah, how are you doing over there?
She's going to help me here for a second because apparently I'm not visible.
Oh.
Go, just keep talking. You're good.
Yeah, you're good. So
no worries. Are we? Okay, so
yeah,
we're not.
Live,
okay, I thought you said we're not live for a second. I'm like, wait a second, that's not good.
It's just I'm not visible apparently in the on the live session. So, what on the basic level for the people who are just getting started, what does it mean for them to get started? Like, what's the most important step they can take right now?
Gotcha. Great question. So, there's three, I always have three pillars. There's three keys to looking at your email deliverability: authentication, reputation, and content. And all three of those will impact your ability to send a message and get a message received. So, those are the key three, and everything starts from a foundation. And that foundational piece is your authentication. Think of authentication kind of like driving a car. You got your car, you got a license plate on the back of your car, you got a driver's license, you got your insurance, and all that is there to prove that, hey, I've been taught I'm doing this the right way, and you can't pull me over for driving without a license. Well, email has licenses too, just like that. In email world, it's called, I'm going to get techie for a second. I swear I'm not trying to confuse you, so I apologize in advance, but it's SPF, DKIM, or it's okay, or DMARC. So those are 3 different authentication protocols. Now, kind of like your car, like if you don't have a driver's license, if you don't have license plates, you can get in your car, start it up, and drive down the street. You may not get caught. You may get caught. Eventually, you do that long enough, you're going to get pulled over. And email works the same way. You can send email without authenticating things properly, but you will get pulled over. And getting pulled over via your email means landing in the spam folder or getting your emails blocked. So really the first thing to look at is your authentication. And what that does is that proves that you are who you say you are. You think, why is this so important? I mean, it's my email. I'm sending it. Well, it's really important because 80% of all cybercrime out there starts from an email, and usually email fraud. So authentication proves that you're sending emails, you are who you say you are, you're not a fraudulent sender, and to let your message through. So it's really, really super important to do that. The other benefit of that is now when you authenticate emails, you send off of your reputation, not the reputation of the system that you're sending from. So,
what does that mean?
Gosh, what does that mean? So if
you and I know what that means, but I don't think most people know what that means.
Oh, I didn't want to get too techie right now, but we're gonna have to here. So when in an email, there's SPF, there's DKIM, and DKIM is really one of the biggest ones. Mm-hmm. So DKIM is a hidden signature that lives within the code of your email. It's also called an envelope signature. And if you do not have DKIM configured with the mailer that you're using, it's their signature that's sending the email on your behalf. So if you ever look at an email like in Gmail and you see like John's Guitar Shop via drip.com, then you know that it's actually not John, it's Drip sending that on Drip's reputation on behalf of John, not John's Guitar Shop sending it. So if you don't have DKIM, it's their authentication and you're failing. If you have DKIM enabled, that gets rid of that via whatever system.com. Could be Drip, could be MailChimp, could be Constant Contact, could be Mad Mimi, whatever. It gets rid of that, and now you're sending on your reputation, on your domain, and really you're kind of unlocking the front door and allowing yourself in.
Okay.
So, you are who you said you are. You are authenticated. You are a safe sender. You're real. Step 1, let me through.
Right. Okay. So that protects you from hitting the spam filters, from showing up in people's inboxes as or dangerous. You get that red or orange message that's like, you might not want to open this email. This probably is scammy or something.
That helps. So this authentication gets rid of that yellow warning in Gmail. So if you're a Gmail user and never seen those warnings in the bottom of an email, hey, be careful clicking links unless you know this sender is who it says they are. This will get rid of those yellow warnings. If you're using Microsoft, it gets rid of that question mark next to their name, and it shows you as an authenticated sender. In fact, with Microsoft, they made a change back in November where anyone that did not pass either SPF or DKIM was automatically flagged and quarantined, which means at best you'd get secondary placement with Hotmail, Outlook.com. If you're sending to businesses, you would have issues sending to any Microsoft domain, and that started in November. So this is just important stuff. And to me, it's simple. To someone who's not techie, You've got to go into the back end of your website and adjust your DNS settings.
Yeah.
Oh, Steve, it's both of us. Look at
Hey,
us on split screen.
we're both there.
It's
Yeah. It's
it's
almost like we're in
amazing
the
when
same place,
technology
but we're
works.
not. You're in
I
Nevada
know.
and I'm in Vancouver. So it's like, wow, what is happening here? But thanks to
Usually,
my wife,
actually,
she figured out this whole eCam thing. I've never used this program before, so it's like, okay,
well, it's like the day of technology not working. Zoom
yeah,
didn't want to work; their servers are backlogged. Facebook wouldn't let us add two people in, and now we're here. So there
now
we
we're here.
go.
There we go. Um, so I was going to ask you a question um, about email, and again, we're at the basic level. I saw somebody said in the questions there, what is an email list and how do I do it? So at the very fundamental level, what is an email list? And not even just what is an email list. I think most people think of it. Actually, I'm not sure, but I talked to somebody else the other day who has emails, but they're not using a CRM. And so as a musician, the most important asset, or one of the most important assets you can have, is your email list, right? You own
Absolutely.
that. If you don't have that, you have next to nothing. So with an email list, you have contacts your fans who you can be in touch with. You can email them directly, not just one at a time, but en masse, right? You can email 500, 1,000 people at the same time, right? One message, very personal, but it goes to everybody. And so what is a
Well,
CRM?
then,
How do you use all
yeah,
that?
gotcha. Well, and I'd say take that email list even further. Think of, your fans are your lifeblood. So promoting shows that you're in. Hey, I'm playing here this weekend. Come check it out. Get tickets early. Our new release is dropping. Get it now. Maybe you're a musician right now. We're in times where a lot of countries are on lockdown. Well, heck, you're a guitar player, let's do some online lessons and teach people how to play guitar where they can pay, and there's so many ways to use your email list,
So
but
many ways.
it's the backbone of communication line to your customers. So CRMs or marketing softwares are the systems where your email list lives. And that's what allows you to capture leads. So I'm sure you've all been to a website. Heck, if you haven't yet, go to savvymusicianacademy.com. You'll see several forms where you can request some free information, valuable information on how to grow your business. Those are called web forms or lead forms. When those forms get filled out, those people go into your email list. Now, the super, super cool thing, keeping it like, if you don't know about these systems, is you can create automated message streams. So think of it, someone requests a free song from you. Now you can automatically send an email right then and there without lifting a finger. Here's your free song. A day later, you can have a follow-up email that goes, hey, Steve, what did you think of the song? How did you make it feel? How did it make you feel? Did it remind you of anything? Love your feedback. And now you can create a series of emails that's really derived to drive them to a next step interacting with you. So
Yeah.
these systems can be super, super simple. They can be super, super powerful. If you're not familiar with Savvy, they teach all of this. So jump in and ask, because there's some unbelievable knowledge available. But that's simplest form. That's an email list. And how do you do it? So I think someone said, can this be done for free? So, Jesse, if you understand websites and DNS, absolutely, you can read anywhere and learn how to do things. The question that you start asking yourself is, how much time is it going to take for me to learn it? Am I going to break something? And what's my time versus the value of money I may pay for someone to do it?
Yeah.
But if you're techie, you can do this on your own. There's
Yeah.
nothing I'm going to talk about that you can't learn to do.
Totally.
But I've spent the last 3 years of my life focusing on nothing but this. So to me, it's simple.
Yeah.
So let's
So
fire away. What else, Steve? What else we got?
but yeah, one more thing. I just wanted to add to that. For anybody who is just starting out right now, has never maybe used an email system, a CRM, or anything like that before, you can get started for free. MailChimp, Drip, Constant Contact, Klaviyo, as far as I know, all of them offer a certain amount of time for free or up to a certain number of contacts. So if you're starting at day one right now and you have 0 people on your list, go start with one of them. I don't care which one, it doesn't matter. That's not the secret weapon. The secret weapon is getting started. So go pick one and get started, right?
And here's 100%. One thing you got to do, and here's a tip. And so many people don't know this. You cannot, if you're marketing using an email system that we just talked about, MailChimp, Klaviyo, Drip, whatever, you cannot be sending from your personal, steve@gmail.com or steve@yahoo.com. Those will get flagged and either blocked or end up in the spam folder. If you're sending, anytime you're sending things for your business and you as a musician, you're a business, you need to have a website domain that you own that you can send from. So like Steve's Guitar Shop or, savvysteve.com, whatever, however you want it to be, you have to own a domain that you send from. And that domain is what gets authenticated properly, like we just spoke about. So step 1, buy a domain for your band, for your music. Step 2, sign up for a system. There's free ones out there. MailChimp and Drip are probably, I think Drip is a trial. I don't know if they allow commercial use for free, but if not, MailChimp gives you, I think, either 500 or 1,000 subscribers for free.
It's a great starter. Do it.
Get started. Do it, because your alternative is doing nothing or doing it manually. And we all love doing things manually. We like cutting our teeth, but I personally do not like wasting time. So if save time, learn it, and replicate it. So
and listen, if you're in a situation today where you're just getting started or you haven't started any of this, that we're just talking about email marketing and deliverability today. So this is what we're referencing. If you haven't started with that, start today. There's a lot of people in the situation with this whole pandemic happening right now. People are at home, they're stuck at home, people are being quarantined, cities and states and whatever are being on lockdown. People are kicking themselves that they haven't started this kind of online venture prior to today. You're behind. So get started if you haven't, and you'll never look back and go, I wish I didn't do that. Right? Ever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So step 1, get a CRM, MailChimp or something like that. Step 2 is get a domain that you own. And step 3 is what, Evan? Get authenticated?
Get authenticated. Where
can people go to find out the steps to do that? Is there your website? You have some information on.
I've got some information on my site. Fundamental.marketing is my site. Yes, there is no .com, so just fundamental.marketing. But honestly, you can Google it. If you look at the providers that you use, they'll all give you instructions on how to do it. Here's some tips though. So any system you use to mail, let's say you sign up, you get a business account. Cool. I've got a domain, evansamarin.com. I have to set up email for that domain. So that could either be through Google with G Suite, or maybe even through the hosting company that you get for the website. Mm-hmm. So now I've got that. And then let's say I add on MailChimp. So there's 2 systems that I email from. Each of those systems need to be authenticated properly. So there's 3 types of authentication records: SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. SPF and DMARC, that's a single record. So there's one SPF record and there is one DMARC record. And that SPF record has everything that you send in there. And you can Google how to do that. But just know you don't create I send from Gmail and I send from MailChimp. That's not 2 SPF records. That's one SPF record that includes both systems. DMARC, very similar thing. There's one record that encapsulates the whole domain. Now, DKIM, there's an individual or sometimes multiple records per system. So, for example, I know a lot of people are using Drip that come through Savvy. Drip actually has 3 different records that you apply to set up DKIM signing. There's 3 of them. So that would have one. And then most people are using G Suite or Gmail. Gmail has one. So That's there. So that's your first thing, is get the authentication in place. There's tons of information on Google if you want to learn how to do it yourself. How to set up SPF records, how to set up DKIM records. But if you feel like you don't know what you're doing, get help. Because if you set this stuff up wrong, you will block your email. I had a client who set things up wrong. They couldn't even send a personal email. Everything was bouncing. So can you do it yourself? Yes. Be careful. Learn, read, test it. If you don't know what you're doing, ask for help. Get the right person to do it. Like, I wouldn't go to fix my car.
Exactly.
I wouldn't. Now, mind you, I did learn how to fix my toilet, but being serious, I was a pro. I had that whole thing apart, but I went and I watched 2 videos before I did it. I had the video handy. So as I was running into things that, how do I do that? I had it right there to reference it, and everything worked. So, you can learn to do things on your own, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure you're doing it right. And if you've got questions, ask. So
there's two main resources that people have: time or money, right? If you don't have the money, then use your time. If you have no time, but you have the money, then use the money. Figure out which one is going to work best.
And take it a step further. If money's tight and time is extremely valuable, well, sometimes you've got to spend the money to gain back the time. I can't tell you how many times, and this isn't just with authentication, this is anything. I remember I was at a conference with a guy named James Malinchak. He's talking about growing and scaling your businesses. And he's like, he goes, how many of you ever had this conversation? Man, once I start doing $150,000 a year in business, or whatever the number is, I'm going to hire a VA to help me. Well, the reality is you probably should hire the VA now, because it's going to expedite your ability to reach that tipping point in your revenues. Exactly. Because it's time you spend doing stuff that you don't know, or it's time you spend investing in yourself and in your business and in growing revenues. Like, as business people, we want to invest our time in money-making activities. That should be your key focus. Now, if you absolutely don't have the money, learn it. Ask for help. Figure it out. But always focus on what's the money-making activity and how do I maximize things, which I kind of want to segue into something. I know we don't have a ton of time because we had some technical difficulties, but I want to talk about a specific thing. So remember, I talked about 3 pillars: authentication, reputation, and content. All 3 matter. None of them are a silver bullet. And frankly, none of them are going to guarantee you make it to an inbox. When we think of deliverability, I want to think of it like this. There's all these red flags that are raised anytime we send an email. Our job as senders is to identify and lower as many of those potential red flags as possible. Now, right now, there is a huge red flag going on, and it's involving the unfortunate coronavirus that's affecting the entire world right now. Yeah. So a lot of people, hey, Steve, you notice an email in your inbox talking about COVID-19 and coronavirus? Have you seen any of those?
Only about 200 of them a day.
Yeah. Now, of the 200, how many of them have you engaged with, like, in the last year? Less than a quarter, probably.
Oh yeah, easy.
So
maybe a couple.
So a lot of businesses are taking advantage of this to kind of reach out to people and hope that they're it's kind of called clickbait. People see a subject line that's enticing. They're going to go, ooh, what do they have to say? Because I'm reading everything on COVID-19 right now. And they open the email, and a lot of times it's garbage. Well, what's going on now is because so many people are misusing COVID-19 and coronavirus, emails have started getting caught up in the spam filters, and now they're getting these really big bad warnings. So one of my clients, he's a doctor, medical field. They send like bi-weekly health and wellness tips, and they've been doing this for years. Well, one of his emails yesterday got flagged, and the warning message said, "Do not click images, links, anything in this email, because emails like this have been used to steal your personal information." So what that means is, remember we talked about authentication and people not being able, you authenticate so the mailboxes know it's you. What happens is these companies do what's called phishing, where they'll either steal your domain and send an email from your domain, which anyone can really do, or they'll create an email that looks very, very similar to yours. And when you click on a link in that email, it installs malware in your system. And that malware can steal passcodes, information, whatever the case may be. Unfortunately, not all people in this world are good. And there's criminals out there that are taking advantage of what's going on with scams. And they're stealing information. So really, really long story short, anything COVID-19 and coronavirus right now can potentially lead your emails to the spam folder and big red warnings on it. So if you're going to send anything coronavirus related, one, think of it like, should your business really be sending something coronavirus related? And for most of us, the answer is probably no. Really not. Now, if you want to talk about, let's say you're a musician and, hey, I can't work right now because I gig live. Well, maybe you start an online course where you're going to teach people to play for free, or not for free, but you're going to teach people to play online. So you would send an email out. And maybe your gut instinct would say to me, hey, with coronavirus going on right now, here's a great chance for you to learn how to play guitar, and I'm going to be your personal teacher. Well, instead of saying coronavirus, say, hey, with the pandemic that's going on today, or you can say, with the world on lockdown, people are looking to find a way to pass the time. So if you've ever wanted to learn the guitar and you love my music, I'll be your teacher. So there's other ways to get the same message across. So right now, COVID-19 and coronavirus are a big red flag that doesn't mean guaranteed, but can get you caught up in spam filters right now.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Did I explain that well, Steve?
Yeah, you did. And so you even mentioned that to me, I think it was yesterday or the day before, after we had sent something out with coronavirus in the subject line.
And it's funny too, because I've gotten, and I hate to take credit. Well, I can't take all credit because Leah and Steve and the team over there write really good content. Most of their emails do not go in the spam folder for me. And this was the first email in a year from Savvy that went to my spam folder, and it was coronavirus in the subject line. So the filters are acting up. It doesn't care. Usually the filters, here's the crazy thing. It's like almost all of the filters are machine learning. So it's like, man, February last year, I don't know if any of you are old movie fans, but it's like Terminator when Skynet went online, and Skynet took over the inbox. That's really what happened. Like Skynet's taken over your inbox because it's machine learning that's now placing emails. So it looks at, who do you interact with? What kind of content do you enjoy? And not just how do you interact with emails from Savvy Musician Academy or Savvy Musician Mail, but how do you interact with emails where their content looks like Savvy Musician Mail? And it's building this really, really big profile on you. So it's all machine learning now, and it's insane. I mean, I can talk that alone, and I'll spare you because you'll all probably want to go gray and pull your hair out because it could be boring. To me, it's exciting.
Well, it is.
But you got
It's interesting too because people think, and I thought this honestly before really discussing the deliverability issue and authentication with you in depth, just to do with SMA and stuff, and that people, I think, have the misconception that the algorithms and the changes and all these things are mostly on social media. It's all on Facebook and Instagram and whatnot, but it's in your email too. The email servers it's all run on algorithms, right? And they're changing every so often. They're increasing deliverability standards, and those things are happening all the time.
They're clamping down big time. And for everyone here, like, you're sending what is this to consumer. I'm going to guarantee you your list is anywhere from 40 to 80% Google. And what drives the majority, like 70% of the deliverability algorithms in Google are all about how people are engaging with you. 20% of it's your content. And then 10% of it's made up of about 1,000 different data points that they look at.
Yeah.
So
that's nuts.
It's crazy.
It's crazy, man. Hey,
it's crazy.
Do you guys have any questions related to email, deliverability, all that kind of stuff? See one here. Rob says, please share who is the best to get help for setting this all up. He's talking about deliverability and stuff. And I would say, but I'm biased, but maybe not. Evan is definitely the guy to talk to. His website again is what? Fundamental.marketing.
Yeah, I'll put it in the comments real quick. It's funny, I don't see that comment from Rob. I don't think my comments are flowing right now, but
interesting.
But I'll put it in there.
Yeah. No, it's great. And you've helped a lot of our students and stuff as well in our elite program and help them get set up. Because honestly, I don't even touch that stuff. I run a lot of the things in behind the scenes here at SMA, but I don't touch certain things because it's over my head, and I'm not the right or the best person to do it. It would take me much too long to figure it out and try to get it done right. So we hire experts, and Evan is a great go-to resource for this kind of thing.
Yeah, someone said, for example, I think John Thomas asked, do we only need DKIM for Drip and Gmail? That answer is that depends. If there's other systems that you send email from, then you need to make sure that those are authenticated. So I know a lot of people, especially in the savvy world, send from or have like Shopify set up. A select, very, very small amount send email from Shopify and from Drip. So if you are sending from Shopify, we need to make sure Shopify is authenticated properly. If you've got a bigger business and you're on here and you have maybe like a help system, like I know you guys use, it's Freshdesk, I believe, or Zendesk. There's a couple of them, but you need to make sure those, anything that mails from your domain has to be authenticated. Right. And now here's the kicker. Anything from your domain impacts the reputation of your email. So think of it. Your reputation online is your domain. Your domain is your reputation. So, if your website gets blacklisted because of malware, that'll affect your deliverability. If you buy an email list, which you should never do, and start sending to it and get a ton of spam complaints, that kills your reputation. And folks, this is a popularity contest. Do people open your emails, click your links, reply to your emails? Those are all positive reputation builders. If they never open your email, it just sits in their inbox, that hurts your reputation. If they open it and immediately delete it without reading, which you'll never see, that hurts your reputation. If you land in the spam folder and it never gets pulled out, that hurts your reputation. So there's lots of things that you can do. And God, we got to do another one of these when we have more time, Steve. And we'll do this. Actually, we'll do this. They'll do the next one for your group, because there's things that you can control on your thank you pages. Like someone fills out a form on your first page, you take them to a thank you page where you typically say, hey, thanks for requesting information. Your information will be in your mailbox shortly. Well, you want to tell them right then and there, here comes my free moment of the day, check your spam folder. The average person doesn't know to check their spam folder. Remember back at the beginning of the call, everyone thinks email is a guaranteed service. If I send it, they'll get it. If I request it, it'll come to my inbox. That is not the case. So you have to realize that most people don't know that. So take advantage of the time that they're on your website and tell them, hey, thanks for opting in. You should have an email in your inbox now. Check for an email from your email address. If you don't see it, look in your spam folder. That little bit right there makes a huge difference, because that's where deliverability starts, with the expectations you set.
Yep, right on day one. Setting up that whole relationship from the first click, really.
Yep.
Right.
And you just said something great, Steve, that I love. Think of email. Don't think of it as a transactional tool. Think of it as the ability to create a relationship with people who like what you do. Right. And when you think of your email as that, the way you write your content shifts, the way you ask for their business changes, because you're dealing with someone you've got a friendship with now. It's a lot to get those. You take advantage of this to build the relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
See, Steve, you dropped one of the biggest nuggets. That was one of the biggest nuggets.
And as musicians, that's exactly what you're doing, right? Your fans don't want to hear from a label. They don't want to hear from a record corporate thingamajiggy. They don't want to hear from a manager. They want to hear from you. And all marketing is building relationships. If you can get that down, get that through your head. It's not about the tactics and the tricks and the, jumping jacks and whatever, the backflips. It's the relationship. So that's really what it is fundamentally, is the relationship. Focus on that. How would you talk to a friend? Right? How
Absolutely.
would you treat a friend? Keep it that simple.
Yeah. And yeah. And you guys have some great information. If you're just starting to get into this stuff, is it Get Super Fun? That's a place for people to start learning, get some good education, understand like how to do this. Because that's what you guys do, is you teach people how to do this.
Yeah.
All day, every day for musicians.
Totally. Yeah, we're great at it too. We have amazing students and just a phenomenal community. What I would say on that is, if you're just starting out and you need some extra help, guidance on building your fan base, on building that relationship, keep an eye out for Tom 3.0, which is going to be released. Right now it's closed, but we're bringing that out here in the next month or two, depending on this whole situation. But to sign up, you can go to the wait list right now, explodeyourfanbase.com, enter your email, and we'll let you know when there's an update or any news on when that's coming up. And the other thing is, if you're more advanced and you want to get into email marketing in a significant way, go to getsuperfans.com. You can learn about what we do in our more advanced trainings, teaching, ninja marketing tricks and principles. What we teach are long-term principles. We don't teach the short-term, tricks and tactics that are going to be gone tomorrow. We don't care about those things. They can be useful for a short period of time, but that's not what we focus on. We focus on the principles that are going to build you a long-term business, because that's what we're here for. We're here for the long term. So go to those two links, getsuperfans.com if you're advanced, explodeyourfanbase.com if you're starting out.
Yep.
And
if you're up and running and you need help with deliverability, fundamental.marketing is my site. Check it out. I work with multiple platforms, not just Drip. Deliverability is agnostic, and let me know how I can help you there too. This stuff is important. It's vital. The most important aspect of any marketing or advertising campaign is getting your message seen. If people don't see your message, it doesn't matter how good your copy or your content is. Same thing with your ads. What's the most important part of an ad campaign? Getting it visible to the right audience. If they don't see it, you're never going to get people to opt in. So
totally.
getting visibility. It's like look at it. You're a working musician. What's your job? Butts in seats. If they don't get into your concert, if they don't get in, if you don't get butts in chairs or butts in seats, you're not making any money. So right. It's the key to it all, and that's what this is all about. It wasn't just unfortunately 45 minutes. We wanted to have more time to just talk about that. It's how do we help you thrive as a musician? How do we help you put yourself in a position to reach the most amount of people and maximize your ability to make earn revenues? That's what this is about.
Totally, that's it. And so actually, on that note, over the next 2 or so weeks, we're going to have. We have a whole bunch I have here on my whiteboard, a bunch more slots that are filled up with other people from our team, other students from our student body, and other coaches from our team as well, who are going to be popping on live here over the next duration of a couple weeks or 3 weeks. And they're going to be teaching on different topics. So keep an eye out for that. If you haven't, select somewhere at the top of the page there, get notified when we go live or when there's a new post. And make sure you keep up to date on that. And stay safe. Thanks, Evan, for everything.
No, thanks for having me. Sorry we didn't have a little bit more time. I've got like 3 minutes. Are there any questions? Looks like we've got some people on. Is there anything that we can ask? Luckily, I'm prepared for my next call. So I'm
That's good. That's good.
It's always good to be prepared. So does anyone have any questions? Is anyone typing anything in, Steve? I don't seem to see all the comments flowing.
Which I'm not sure what it means. Would you advise against a scraper, then, even if it is pulled from your Facebook page? What the heck?
Yes. Yeah.
Is he saying what I think he's saying?
Yeah, they're saying, can I scrape the internet for leads? Can I scrape my Facebook for email addresses? No. There is legal legislation against you doing that. That's called unsolicited marketing. So in the U.S., there's 2 laws, CAN spam, and then the CCPA, California Consumer Privacy Act. It is illegal to non-solicitedly market to people. If you're in Canada, you're violating CASL, CASL, Canadian anti-spam legislation. If you're in the EU or the UK, you're violating GDPR. Do not scrape the internet. One, you're violating leads. Two, when you scrape the internet, a lot of time old emails, which could be potentially spam traps. And if you hit spam traps, which are emails that are basically monitored by these spam monitoring agencies, if you hit those spam traps, you can and will blacklist your domain. Only message people that that request it from you. If you don't have a list, now's the time to build it. Facebook ads, and you guys had a great course on Facebook marketing, I know, but like the cost of Facebook ads kind of just rewound to like 2015. They're like a ninth of what they were a month ago. So,
seriously.
Now is seriously, everyone's freaking, like the world's freaking out right now. People don't know what to do. Push fear aside. Get your head right. Look at your budgets and set things aside to build your business. Because now, if you do it right, you can really set yourself up, one, to get through what you're going through now. But once this gets, and it will blow through, you can ramp up really, really quickly. So,
and
take advantage of what's out there now.
A great point, too. Now is the time, going back to the beginning of the thing, get started with email marketing. Get an email list going. Get started with building your brand. Nobody knows you exist yet. Why? Because you don't have exposure, but you have the internet at your fingertips. You have no excuse. So get to work. We can teach you, we can show you, but you can even figure it out yourself. What I was going to say is,
I see a question from Al. Sorry, go ahead, Steve. Sorry about that.
Now is the time to get your butt in gear, because when things do pick up, and they will, you don't want to be in the position going, dang it, I wish I did something back then. It's like the internet boom and every other boom, right? Where do you want to be? In the position of strength or in the position of, I wish I did something, right? So set yourself up. All right, Alex says, can you begin building an email list through tools like MailChimp or Drip without a finished website? Yes, it's easy. Usually MailChimp, even though I wouldn't recommend them, but I know they've gotten better, you can use their lead pages, right? They have built-in lead pages.
Yeah, and even on your site, create a page on your site, put a form on that page that connects to MailChimp. They all have instructions on how to do it. There's videos all over the place. Yes, you can.
Totally.
And if you don't have a website, Facebook has a function called lead ads. Now, I'm not a big lead ad fan, but if you can't figure out how to create a landing page or do anything, Facebook has lead ads, which basically is a form that lives inside of Facebook. Their information is pre-populated and they submit it and it connects. So yes, you can. There's multiple ways to do it. And Steve and the team can guide you through that if you have questions on it.
Yep, absolutely. So you can message us if you have any questions. Just hit the messenger button on our page. We also have, again, getsuperfans.com if you're in a position to take some more advanced training on email marketing and Facebook marketing. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend a beginner start with Facebook ads now because you're going to end up screwing a bunch of stuff up and wasting a bunch of money and time. So get some training, okay? And the other thing, if you're at the basic level and you just need to build your fan base, you have nothing validated yet, you have no product maybe even in place currently, go to explodeyourfanbase.com and sign up for the wait list. Lead ads, forget about it, Jesse. Do the email, build the email, use free traffic from your social media, and MailChimp, use the lead pages they provide, or your web page if you have a website. But you need to do that correctly. So follow the steps we said already in this video. If you need to go back, rewatch it, and then keep an eye out for the next sessions that we're going to be doing here in the next couple of weeks. Over the next couple of weeks. Sorry, it's going to be, I think we have another one going on, what day is it today? In a day and a half, or a day from now. So will be another one. All right. Thanks, Evan. Appreciate you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. It's a pleasure for having me. Any questions, ask the team here, hit me up on my site, and you guys have an amazing day. I've got a client to go serve.
Right on. All right, guys. Peace out.